Hi, everyone. This is Mr. Social, and this is my first weekly update since I restarted my YouTube channel. Basically, what the weekly update does is it gives you a little bit of a peek into what has happened to me over the course of a week and sort of, where I'm at, basically. All right, so let's start out with the basic question. How are you doing? Is like the basic question we always ask each other. So let's talk about that. So physically, getting there. I've been able to get a little more active this week. I feel like the goal is to be more active so that don't have as much belly fat. Um, you know, since this pandemic, the belly fat has been like. Um, been getting more active so that we don't have that issue. Mentally, some days it's like you want to punch someone in the face. Other days you're like, life is good. Other days you don't want to get out of bed. So it's been that usual roller coaster ride, and sometimes you feel those all at the same time, even though you don't really feel it the same. It just seems like it. Spiritually speaking, I haven't really done as much reading as I would like of the suttas, but the most important thing is the practice. There's a verse in the Dhammapada, um, and I'm going to probably slaughter it. I probably could get it. I think I know which verse it is. Why don't I see if I can actually do that? It says,
That way.
reciting a small portion of the scriptures, but putting it diligently into practice, letting go of passion, aggression, and confusion, those things that we Buddhists try to reduce. Revering the truth with a clear mind, truth with a capital, not with a capital T, lowercase t, and not clinging to anything here or hereafter brings the harvest of the holy life. Pardon me. In the verse before it says, "A careless person quoting much of the scriptural text, but not living it, cannot share the abundance of the holy life." I think that applies to every faith. It's one of those you can talk the talk things, but you got to be able to walk the walk thing. So I think I've been better at walking the walk than talking the talk recently, and I think that's okay. Um, Unfortunately, here in my part of the city, violence has been relatively close by. There was an incident, I think a week and a half ago, maybe even a week ago. That's why you should write things down. Memory doesn't serve right sometimes. We had a dispute and it led to a shooting. That was about 3/10 of a mile from my apartment. And then there was a stabbing, non-fatal stabbing, about 2/10 of a mile from my apartment. Both of them took place way late. I don't think 10 o'clock people think that way late at night, but for me it is. And then also the shooting was like 1:30 in the 12:30 in the morning or something like that. It's during times where I'm securely in the apartment and have no plans of going out. Um, for me personally, it's like, well, that reduces my chances, but in other parts of the city, it's happened during the daytime, so still got to be pretty cautious. I got my first dose of the Pfizer vaccine this week. The arm uh, was a little bit sore. It felt like a tetanus shot and a little more tired than usual, but whatever. I have Crohn's disease. I'm tired quite a bit anyway, so it was like no big deal. So we have about 3 weeks left for college for this spring semester. I'm very glad that it is. I'm getting tired of really poor teaching. I know that college professors have a lot on their plate and everything. They got to get through so much material, but there has to be a way to teach stuff, not just present it on a PowerPoint or talk about it. Um, I think that's the teacher in me talking. Maybe it is the only way. I don't. I find that very difficult to believe, but it is what it has been my favorite phrase recently. For a little while, I didn't have any heat, so it got to about 62 degrees in the apartment, and that was by the door. By the windows, it was probably even colder, but that is working now, so good to go on that. I had an interview yesterday, which was the 16th of April, for an organization that is affiliated with AmeriCorps, where I would be assisting with management of the AmeriCorps members, so providing extra support for them, and also the administrative duties of all the paperwork for the AmeriCorps members. So they send it in, and then we process it, and also data for the program. I looked through the website of the organization, and it was conventional, nothing really special. So, it was like I didn't feel a lot of emotional investment being like, wow, this is great. This is something new and exciting. That's the thing about having 4 terms of AmeriCorps service under your belt. It's like an AmeriCorps program is basically an AmeriCorps program, unless they do something really, out of the ordinary. And that sort of came through in the interview a little bit. And one of the people in the interview was really trying to get me to advocate for myself. And it's like, dude, I don't even know you, and I don't really care about you. I mean, I would never say something like that bluntly, but it's like, I hardly know you. Why would I want to be advocating myself to you? And you don't even have the power to hire me, that is the director of operations. So if the director of operations asked me that question, it might have been answered differently. Probably not, though. And I answered very honestly, saying that my greatest accomplishment in AmeriCorps was having meaningful, productive relationships so that we could get things done, which is AmeriCorps' sort of motto. I wouldn't change that answer. None of my accomplishments in AmeriCorps sort of stick with me and be like, well, that is the epitome of my existence so far. I don't think that's happened yet. I think that's in the future. So probably not going to get a job offer. I don't care. I would have to, if the job offer did come in, I would probably decline it. Before the interview, I would have said I would have really had to think about it, because it would have involved relocating back to Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, where I completed a term of service. And to be honest with you, I'm not sure that's probably a good idea during a pandemic. And I don't mean like personal safety. I would take all the safety measures, and hopefully everyone else would, and it would work out hunky dory. But symbolically speaking, what does that tell me? To me, that if I were to interpret that, it would be like, yeah, I'm more important than the pandemic. So I don't know. You take that, and interpret that how you will. If I seriously considered it and I did go about it, I probably would justify it differently, because that's what we do, psychologically speaking. We tend to justify our decisions, even though it may not be something that is in line with what our beliefs are. So that's it for like the real life stuff. I did also get my taxes done, and as usual, I owed money for New York State taxes, but what else is new? Taxes here in New York State are the bane of our existence. So that's it for this week. If you have any questions, leave a comment, and I can definitely get back to you. As it relates to the channel, I'm going to continue focusing on making like short gaming clips, and and then when the semester ends, I'll start my studying history series, sort of like a beginner's guide to studying history, because that's about what my experience is. I don't have a PhD in history; I have a bachelor's, so I can definitely get people started, but I wouldn't say that I'm an expert on it. And honestly, I'm probably a little rusty, so I'm going to be um, re. I'm not sure if it's like relearning, but I'm going to refresh my memory about certain things. All right, so until next week, everyone, take care of yourselves, and I'll talk to you soon. Goodbye for now.